Core. Core. You are listening to Core, a show on Code Zero Radio that plays bands located in the Fox Cities. A show to find and discover new music. Hosted by Andy McNamara.
Hello everybody, welcome to Fox Cities Core here on WCZR Code Zero Radio. If this is your first time tuning in, Code Zero Radio, every Saturday we go live for Fox Cities Core, where we get a great band from the Fox Cities in, and we do a live and interactive show. The interactive part is where we need you. If you've got a question for the band, feel free to leave it in the comments of the videos that are streaming on Code Zero Radio's Facebook page. We're also streaming on the Fox Cities Core YouTube page. You can also call us directly at 920-358-0795. And again, 920-358-0795. Want to quickly plug, if you're interested in Code Zero Radio shirts, I've got one on today. You can get them by going to live.codezeroradio.com. Lots of different styles, lots of different designs. And we thank everybody that bought shirts already. Some of the money goes to, of course, the company making them. Some goes to support local artists, and then some goes to support the station. So it's much appreciated. My next band I have on the show, they're an indie band from Oshkosh, Wisconsin. Their music's danceable, teases elements of disco, psychedelia. I hear some blues in there. While maintaining its rock and roll spirit, I'd like to welcome Tony and Sam from the band Horace Green. How are you guys doing today?
Good. How are you?
Great, and thanks for doing this. I know you guys had a lot going on, and that we only have an hour to cover it, so hopefully we can get through everything.
Yeah, man.
But let's quickly, if you could, let everybody know your name and what you do in the band.
My name is Tony. I play the guitar and sing.
My name is Sam. I play bass and sing background vocals.
And Horace Green, when did the band officially start?
Well, we've been playing music together since high school. We met in early high school and kind of hit it off there. And we were in a couple different projects. And then, what was it, like 2015, I think? End of 2015.
It's like somewhere around there, yeah.
We started with our drummer Mitch, and had we named the band at that point at all? I don't think.
I don't think so.
So that was kind of where it was born, and then from there went through a couple lineup changes, and here we are.
Was Horace Green what became Horace Green? That was your first project, your first band project ever? Or did you have something going on before that?
There were some other ones. We had me and Sam went through dozens of different friends and Craigslist people and just tried to form a band for 5 years.
A lot of Craigslist.
But you know how it is. It's people come and go, and finally Horace Green just stuck, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Are you guys both from Oshkosh?
No, we're from Neenah.
Neenah, okay. Are you currently in Neenah too?
We live in Oshkosh now.
Okay.
But yeah.
And so I know that you guys have had some different drummers through your span of the band.
Mm-hmm.
But you guys have been the consistent elements of the band.
Mm-hmm. Sam and I are definitely the core, the whole heart and soul of it.
Mm-hmm.
Not that Stinny isn't the heart and soul too, but we're definitely the guys that have been the driving force.
Mm-hmm.
So when you were growing up in Neenah, what music were you into at that point? And did that help shape what Horace Green ended up playing, or were you listening to something that was totally different than what you started playing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, probably.
A lot of Red Hot Chili Peppers and Foo Fighters and those alternative rock bands, and I guess elements of their music could bleed into Horace Green, and I know you were listening to a lot of the Black Keys and things like that, so yeah, can hear elements of their music, but I'm sure they had an influence in some way.
Yeah, it's hard to remember.
What I like about Horace Green is you guys definitely sound different than a lot of the other bands that are in the area. You do have like the elements of different styles, which is why I was curious what you're listening to, because you do hear like a little disco in there. I think the first time I heard of you guys were explained to me as a blues rock band.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw you and I was like, well, you seem more kind of rocky disco sort of like, that's interesting to hear. I guess the Chili Peppers are sort of the same way.
I listen to a lot of the Bee Gees. So maybe that's where it comes from.
So the first album you ended up, I think, Tony, you pretty much recorded, produced, did everything for that
Yep.
album.
Yeah.
Was that because it was more cost effective, or because you were trying to learn about it, or was it just...
Yes, cost effective, for sure. Most things we do are because they're cost effective. We did that with Mitch, and it was just the three of us. We just did it in 2 days and in my parents' living room when they were like gone. I don't know, when they went somewhere, and we were like, all right, we got to sneak in and record the album.
I remember the time crunch because it got to be like 2 a.m. and we had like one song left to do.
Yeah.
That wasn't all the way finished.
It wasn't even written.
Yeah, you came to us with the idea, and you're like, "All right, here we go, one last hurrah." And
Yeah, I'm glad nobody said no, because you definitely could have been like, what? No, we don't even know this song.
Was it recorded on a laptop, or what did you use to record?
It was a pretty wacky setup. It was just like just like an 8-channel interface, like a Focusrite interface into this like 7-year-old laptop I had. It was just like this old PC on Pro Tools, like Pro Tools 8 or something, because I was too cheap to upgrade. But yeah, that was it. That was the whole signal chain.
It turned out really nice. Like if I would have read, I wouldn't have known that wasn't recorded at a studio. And we'll get into it a little bit later. But when that album was recorded independently, you guys did the artwork and everything as well, or you knew somebody that knew how to do that?
Yeah, we kind of all had ideas for the artwork, and Mitch, our drummer at the time, Mitch started the band with us, and he was with us probably like the longest. And then he was also a graphic designer, so he did like a lot of the engineering for the artwork for us, which was really nice. But I think for that album, we went to the store and just bought like a Neapolitan...
a brick of ice cream.
We bought a brick of it. Then we melted it and put it on the toilet.
That's pretty funny.
The magic of Photoshop.
And then Mitch cut it out and like put a text on it. But
So-
it was...
Self-recording, you hadn't done any of that prior, or did you record for other people before recording?
Yeah, I went to... actually, I don't remember... Yeah, in 2015, yeah, I had done like a couple things for friends, but like nothing crazy serious or anything. But I went to college for that.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, when you're recording yourself, what's the hardest part to record? Is it the drums, or is it
Yes.
drum sound?
Always drums.
You did it in a living room.
Yep. Yeah, it turned out okay. I mean, could have been a lot worse. We spent like 12 hours tuning a snare.
The whole first day, I remember, in the kitchen, just tuning that snare and hitting it over and over, trying to get the
we
sound
just ate
right.
salsa and tuned a snare for the
Yeah.
whole first day.
And that album title is, I think, pretty cool. The Early American Ice Cream is a title. Like you said, there's a picture of a Neapolitan
Mm-hmm.
ice cream on the front. So where did the name come from? It's just so out there.
We were just like sitting in my bedroom, I think, like at my parents' house. So we had moved out, but like all my old kid stuff was still there. And I think you found like this old Mad Libs book under the under the bed, and we were just like, it was so late and we were so tired, and you just found the word like, you found the phrase like
Yeah.
early American ice cream or something in it.
It had been written into like the Mad Lib from like 10 years ago, probably.
Yeah. You're like, all right, that sounds good.
And that's it.
And you had the master, Justin Perkins, master it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the man.
Yeah. So was that received pretty well when that came out?
Whoever, I mean, of all the like 10 people that received it, I think they liked it. Like my parents and your parents.
Yeah. People seem
Everybody.
to be happy about it.
Did that open up doors as far as getting shows in the area, or at least like you had some credibility at that point?
Yeah, I think once we had something physical to like show people, it made things easier, definitely.
Yeah. It's nice to have like the thing.
When you guys started playing out, which venues were you playing at to try to get your foot in the door?
Reptile Palace.
Reptile.
Downtown Oshkosh, yeah.
Over and over and over.
We did like a Short Branch Saloon and then some of the downtown Appleton. We did Gibson Music Hall pretty soon after we released the album too.
Yeah, Gibson Music Hall like really took a gamble on us, I think, and we were really appreciate it because we could have sucked. We didn't have anything on the internet, and they were just like, "Sure, come play." And then it was,
Yeah.
I think we played there probably the most of any venue.
Mm-hmm.
How was the stage fright on those first handful of shows?
Pretty high for me, at least.
It was pretty frightful, but we had been playing live with our other band before that, so it wasn't like too shocking. But it was, yeah. I mean, you get comfortable after a while.
So now when you're playing a show, there's no stage fright, or do you still have a little bit of that lingering nervousness?
No,
Not definitely not as much. Depends on the show too, I guess. But
depends on the show.
kind of going out there in front of a new crowd, especially like if they're all just kind of sitting around far away from the stage, it's kind of awkward and you have to like warm the crowd up almost.
I like kind of like the awkward shows because it's like, all right, this is already weird, so we probably won't make it worse.
Yeah.
I get nervous in like small groups. Like if it's like us playing like a little acoustic show in front of like 10 people, I'm like, oh God, I see everyone's face. I see what everyone's thinking. And then,
Silently judging.
yeah, I could easily play like 10,000 people and be like, okay, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How was your experience at Milo Music this past year?
Amazing.
Great, yeah. It's always
Mile
fun.
is, yeah, we love it there, and they're so welcoming and treat us so well, and it's just cool seeing and meeting all the people from around the country and even the world too. And this year, especially after like the pandemic and everything, it's so nice to just be around everyone again and be able to share in the live music.
It's fun. It's like a little get together with all your friends. Like at this point, I mean, I'm sure like you see a lot of people there too, and you just get to hang out, and everyone's there for a few days. We've definitely met a lot of our friends there.
How was the vibe? Was it kind of weird seeing everybody again?
Oh, just like after the COVID stuff. Yeah. I mean, it was exciting to see everybody.
Yeah, felt good for sure.
What did you guys do during the kind of downtime of COVID? Did you write, or did you just sort of step back and take a break?
You wrote a bunch of songs.
Yeah, we didn't really. The train didn't stop much. We kept doing our thing. Like me and Sam do a lot of just business stuff, we call it, but it's just a lot of like sending emails and stalking people, and so we kept doing that every week. But then, yeah, I finished writing the new album, and then we built the studio too, which was we probably did that the most over the break.
Definitely going to talk about the new stuff in a little bit, but we had a question come in, and it's a good one. It's it's where did the name Horace Green come from?
Oh yeah,
You probably knew that one was coming eventually.
Yeah, I unfortunately don't have like an exciting answer to this, but it's to me it was just like it meant nothing. That's why I liked it. I was trying to think of something that meant nothing, and it's also the like the prep school in School of Rock, which I didn't know at the time. Maybe like in the back of my brain I knew that because I love that movie, but everyone was like, "Is that School of Rock?" And I was like, I don't know, maybe. It's cool if it is.
We wanted I know you came to me and you're like, we want an old man's name.
Yeah.
And we were like thinking of a bunch of like catchy sounding old guy names, and then that one just kind of stuck.
Yeah, just like something that didn't mean anything so we could make it mean something, kind of was the idea.
But it had a secret meaning.
Yeah, like it could mean whatever you want it to mean, really.
I think Horace Green is a great old guy name.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a little reminiscent. Like I say, it's more old guy than like Vic Ferrari even.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's where the name came from, and got the first album done, and then Mitch, did he stick around for the next album? Was he on the second
Yeah.
album? Okay, so Mitch was on the second album, and the second album. Well, I want to make sure I don't miss anything. Was 100 Bones on the first album, or was that
That was the first album.
the first album? Okay. Well, there's a lyric, and I don't remember, like, I wrote it down, and you don't have to answer if you don't want, because sometimes lyrics are personal. But the lyric that kind of caught my ear a couple months ago was, your mama said you better cross your T's, not cross your I's. And if you're running races, you better check that your shoes are tied. But you don't need to earn your money when you're busy taking bribes.
Mm-hmm.
So is that something based off an experience or just some cool wordplay that you put together?
It's just 100 Bones is sort of just a song like about like a political figure, like a political feeling, not anyone specific, but just like the air and the vibe around like a corrupt type of person. Yeah. I don't like I don't mind the question at all, but like I kind of like to let people come up with their own meanings for songs, because we get asked like all the time what a song is about, and I just feel like I'm ruining it for them if I tell them like what I think it's about. Because I mean, I'll hear a song and maybe I'll really like it, and then I'll read more about what it's actually about, and I'm like, oh man, I was wrong, and then I feel like violated. So I just like to keep it vague and let
Leave it
people,
open.
yeah, leave it open.
So when you're writing, like, do you stress out over the lyrical content at all? Is that harder than getting the music written?
Um, uh, well, sometimes, yeah, I mean, I want to make sure the lyrics are like, they say the right thing and they're not too, I have this thing that I do in my head where I'm like, all right, is this lyric too inside jokey? Like, are people going to actually know what I'm saying? Because in your own head, you know what you're saying and you know what you're trying to say, but when it actually like is heard by someone else, it might not come out the same. So I try to do like that test in my head. So I definitely go back and forth on lyrics and like tweak things and try to make sure it's like understandable.
When you're writing, do you normally have like a kind of a fake lyric melody? Or are you able to write, one of those rare people that can write with just writing music and not do the vocal melody with it right away?
I don't know. I think it depends on what the inspiration was and how it all like started. Sometimes like there's definitely been a few Horace Green songs that just kind of like pooped right out, and the brain was just like bloop, here you go, and like it's all right there. And then other ones like definitely take a little more time to sculpt. I don't know, what do you mean by like the music? Like you mean like separate from the lyrics?
Right. Well, sometimes when somebody's writing, they might be strumming some chords or playing a riff, and at least personally for myself, it's a little hard to write a song without having an idea of how the vocal melody is going to go. So normally
Okay.
I'll junk all that, but some people are able to actually like hear a melody in their head without adding like kind of a spacer thing to it.
Okay.
I don't know. I just kind of wondered what your writing style was, because it kind of intrigues me that, you know, everybody's different with how they write.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I just really, all the songs I pretty much just write in my bedroom, like alone in the morning and in the dark, in my underwear. I need like a lot of time to like get in the zone, and I need a big block of time. Like if I only had like 20-minute increments, I couldn't do it. I need like hours, like whole days to just like sit there and marinate on it. And like after like hour 2, then I really feel like, all right, feel like I know who this guy is. And one important thing like to me with songwriting is like I don't feel like the songwriter. I think it's more just like the song it's already there, it's already written. I'm just sort of like unearthing it like an archaeologist would and like finding it. Because then if you have that mindset, then you don't try to like force it into a spot it doesn't want to go. It's more of like just, all right, let's see what the character is and who this song wants to be.
Does Sam ever contribute to the songwriting or any full song ideas or?
Nope, it's been all Tony so far.
I think Sam does write songs. We haven't really like we have written songs together. We just don't like logistically. It's tough to like get everybody together and flesh them out. I mean, I'm sure you know, like being in a band, it's scheduling. It's tough to get people together and then, let alone try to be creative together and agree on everything. And someone's got to steer the ship, and it's just easier. It's just worked better for now to like do it myself. But no, I'm definitely not opposed to any of that stuff. And we have written some stuff together. We have like a bunch of side projects where we're like building up a bunch of songs.
And to like when you come to me and the band with the idea and present it, it usually it takes form over that time when we're working on it too, for like the album or the live show. And
yeah, things change live a lot.
We've got another question here. This comes from DJ Bear, who hosts Amped Up on Code Zero Radio every Tuesday night. Have you guys always been a three-piece band? And if you were to add a fourth member, what instrument would you add?
No, we have not always been. We have had 4 people here and there. We kind of just like cycle people in and out. Just like I was saying before with the scheduling, it's tough when you're an adult and a musician because like musicians don't always get paid enough to like quit their day job and dedicate time to just playing. But yeah, no, we've had our friend Caden and I mean I don't know, I'm gonna forget people, but Logan and Isaac were with us like most of the time. They play in a band, the Present Age, around here. That was probably the biggest run with like the static members like that as a 4-piece. But yeah, we have definitely.
yeah, that was fun. And Logan, the fourth guy, was on like guitar and keyboard and sang and things like that.
Keys.
So, and having those elements really filled out the live show too, which was a lot of fun.
And we have that coming again. We kind of have been a 3-piece for a while just to make it simple, but we have some more. We're working to get like the 4th guy in because I think it's nice. It's nice to have like the 4th guy.
Well, thanks for the question, Jerry.
Yeah.
And that sets this up nicely. This is a segment in the show called Band Reaction, where we play a clip from a previous band that's been on, and then we get your reaction to it. And it fits so well with Jerry's question because we're going way back, like 2.5 years to when the Present Age was on the show.
Okay.
So we'll play the clip, and then we'll get your reaction.
Okay.
Band Reaction.
Is that Logan?
Band Reaction. The scene is thriving in Oshkosh, isn't it?
It is awesome. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how long it's necessarily been going because we only have been there for 5 years, maybe a bit more, because we studied there at university, have been kind of bumming around, living in different like rental houses, always houses, no apartments because they don't like drum sets. But yeah, just in the couple of years we've been there, there's been so many new bands popping up. There's a lot of older bands I never knew were there, but like people who've been playing for decades are like still there supporting new music. There's a whole culture that I think a lot of people don't realize is actually there, and it's a lot more vibrant than anyone really thinks. You know, we know Appleton, we know I'm sure Madison, Milwaukee have pretty good scenes, even though they might be a bit more disjointed because they're so large. But Oshkosh is a surprising underdog, and I think there's going to be a lot more to see coming up in the coming years, for sure.
The DIY scene is really like, that kind of made us step back, and because we weren't even that much a part of it, even though we should have, for a few different reasons, but like just seeing how there are a lot of bands who are just going out and doing it, and that's something that Isaac and I were always like, we're just really anxious, second guessing people. So we're always like, the real reason it takes us so long for records is like either moving parts like members changing, or honest, it's just insecurity. And so it's a weird thing to work through. And then we see these younger bands, some bands younger than us, just crushing it because they're just going out and playing, even if it's just for their friends. They'll just find a space and make it happen. It's like, oh my gosh, like they're totally doing what we should be doing. They're just throwing themselves into the music, which is fantastic.
All right, what's your reaction?
They're a bunch of goobers.
They are right about the DIY scene. I think Oshkosh has a super cool like underground music scene and a lot of like basement shows and garage shows and house shows going on. And our buddy, we had a buddy who we worked with, Abe. He had a house on I think like Wisconsin Street or something in Oshkosh, and a lot of weekends there'd be 3-4 bands playing on a Saturday night there, and just like opening up the scene to a bunch of different styles of music. And he'd have like DJs and punk bands and metal bands and bands like us, and just a really cool vibe, kind of bringing everyone together and letting everyone experience music they normally wouldn't hear like all in one night. So
Yeah, like to what Isaac was saying, you kind of have to like go underground sometimes and play like these weird basement shows and these house shows, because the venues, they want like, I mean, not to say that cover bands aren't wonderful, but if you're an original band, it's hard to get into some of those bars. And Oshkosh is a little strange for trying to get shows, because some of the places have like half a sound system, and like sometimes they book shows and the guy who's booking it always changes, and it's a little funky sometimes. But yeah, no, I agree with what he's saying.
All right, well, thank you for that segment band reaction there.
It's weird to hear them in my ears.
yeah.
So when you were playing with those guys for a while, like kind of Jerry mentioned the 4-piece, so you had the dynamic of 2 guitars. When you're writing your songs, are you writing them with kind of in your mind, these will be played as a 3-piece once we're doing the shows?
Yeah. I have like all of it in mind, like 3-piece, 4-piece, and like what the 4th guy would play if we had the 4th guy. That's a good question, because it's tough to balance. Like, we like to play as a 3-piece because it's so nice and simple, and you just don't have to think about it a lot. You just throw your instruments up and start playing. But with the 4-piece, you really have to sit down and dial in the mid-range, especially like what you're saying with 2 guitar players, because a keyboard and a guitar and another guitar can really fight for space in the mix. So that it takes time to do and figure out, like, all right, when is one guitar gonna sit out, or just like play chords, or how are we gonna work this? But yeah, it takes some doing.
Well, the second album, the Diamond Engine, that one you actually went and recorded it at Honeytone Studios in Nina. So was the experience easier at a studio, or were you kind of experiencing a little bit of, like, did you still have control, or were you still kind of trying to maybe take a more hands-off approach during this album?
Honeytone was great, and Patrick and Marty and Jeff wasn't there when we were there, but they're all like the sweetest, most patient dudes, and they're really talented.
Very welcoming, and
Yeah,
made us feel right at home.
very fun, warm environment. It's like a museum in there, with like all the instruments they have. It was we knew it was going to be different for us because we had recorded the first album, and we had never been to a studio to record with Horace Green. So we already knew it was going to be weird, and that's kind of why we did it, to learn sort of what it would be like to be in a studio and just to have that experience. There was less control and more of a time strain, which is the main reason why we are doing it ourselves again this time, because like Patrick and Marty are like really good at dialing in sounds quickly, but no matter how good you are at that, you can't hear what's in someone else's head. And I'm like really anal about every little thing, and I felt like I wasn't too anal with them. I was a little bit of a prima donna, but we still are friends, so I think it wasn't too bad. But I want to be a prima donna, so doing it ourselves lets me do that, and then I can like obsess about, oh, the 6,000 isn't good on this snare drum, or like this vocal is like 0.1 decibel like too low, and like stuff like that, that like it would be really annoying for an engineer to have to deal with. Like, I'm just sort of doing it as a favor to the studio community. I'll get out of your way. I'll just do it. We'll just do it ourselves.
Just really take time with the project and make sure every little thing is right.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you take advantage of any of that vintage gear that they had at the studio?
Oh,
Yeah.
Definitely.
We
Played some
were
sweet
drowning in
basses
it. It was awesome.
The Rickenbacker bass.
If you haven't been to Honeytone and you're looking for a studio, like go to Honeytone,
Yeah,
because
they're
it's
great.
amazing.
So the Midnight Fuse, that was, you guys had one under your belt already when that one came out. So did you do anything differently as far as how you promoted it or how you did shows on it? Like, what did you do differently the second time that you didn't do during the first album?
As far as like promotion wise, we put together like a whole release show and everything, and really made sure we were like shooting it out to radio stations and online podcasts and things like that. And we had the Algoma Club in Oshkosh, and we made flyers and like put them up all over town and like blasted it out everywhere, and ended up being probably one of the best shows we've just
Yeah.
like the most fun, and all our friends and family and stuff were there, and just a ton of fun.
It was a big, like, we spent 6 months trying to market the whole thing with like the singles and the music video and the flyers and the Facebook ads and everything we could think of, and it was like it was too much to like do. Like, I lost weight during the process trying to organize the whole night, and then when we finally got there, like the minutes before we were supposed to play, like those are the shows I'm nervous for. Not because of the people there, but because of like just everything that went into it, and like all the planning and the cooperation, and then it's like, okay, comes down to this moment where we have to take the stage and it's the album release party. But yeah, we did a lot of promotion for that one that we never did before. We didn't do any promotion for
No,
the
I think
first album.
we played at Reptile Palace and like
Yeah, that
had
was the
album
promotion.
release show, and
And it was raining. There
Yeah.
were like 20 people there.
right. And with the Diamond Engine, the CDs didn't get there until the day of the show too. So it was like
We like to do that, make it
4 p.m. You know, we like to sweat a little bit. So.
So did you notice any change on return on investment from doing it
Yes.
that way?
Definitely.
Of course. Yeah, there were like 300 people at this place, and I think a lot of it was just because of the hype that we generated with the 6 months of grinding out the promo. And then afterwards too, it was nice. We just, yeah, no, it was great. It was good.
Mhm.
Definitely paid off.
Do you have any advice for any up and coming bands that might be releasing their first album? Some sort of don't make these mistake type of statements?
Probably. My advice would be like, just do as much as you can and make some mistakes. Because I could tell you like what we did wrong, but I think sometimes it takes your own self to do it wrong before you're like, oh, okay, that's, even if you're told not to do something, it might not click until you do it. And then you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about. So like my advice would just be like, go do as many things as you
Yeah.
can.
Get it out to just get it in as many ears as possible.
As far as promotion goes, like nothing is too weird.
Yeah.
Like, you know, hire the fire department to put the trampoline in front of a building and
Yeah.
jump off the building and
Fly banners and
do it all.
right in the
do
sky.
everything.
Yeah.
When we had the Present Age on years ago, that was right before Racket Fest, the last Racket Fest
Oh,
in
yeah.
Oshkosh, and there were a lot during that specific Racket Fest. There was a lot of bands that hadn't played together for 20 years.
Yeah.
Did you, like, as far as like being in the Oshkosh scene, was there any bands before you really got a band together that you looked up to, or that
Yes.
you went to
Definitely.
maybe mentored you or anything?
Yeah, definitely. I think about that all the time when people ask us like who our favorite bands are. Like when we were coming up, like that was like one of the reasons why I wanted to be in a band, was because I could like go out and see like the Traveling Suitcase and the Sleepwalkers and the Midwestern Charm and like Bronze Sage. Those are the guys that were like around the Oshkosh area. Like those guys were my heroes. Like, 'cause they were real and they were like right in front of me. And I would like, I was not old enough to be in the Reptile Palace, but I would go in there because they're pretty chill there. And I wasn't drinking, so don't arrest me. But I would go see them, and it was just like, you know, like one of those formidable, is that what they call it? Forming
That sounds right.
Yeah, sure.
One of those words.
One of them.
And Sam, were you sort of the same? You're
Yeah.
checking out the same bands at the time?
Yeah, I think Tony and I were hanging out a lot during that time too, and we were listening to a lot of the same music and stuff. And
Corey Chisel.
Do you feel that the scenes were different in Appleton and Oshkosh? Is it like two different worlds, or is the scene more sort of intertwined than
You
some
mean
people say?
back then or right now?
Both. Actually, it'd be interesting to hear what you think of back then to now.
I say back then, well, the scenes are different in general in both cities, especially in Oshkosh. As far as like how they compared between Appleton and Oshkosh, I don't know back then that I really knew a lot of what was going on in Appleton, but it seemed more like folk stuff, with especially with Milo music, and Oshkosh seemed a little more like indie rocky to me. But that was just my like dumb
a little more of the
teenager
DIY.
brain. Now though, I would say it's a lot different now.
I feel like the valley as a whole kind of blends all together. So you have like Appleton, Oshkosh, Neenah, and it's kind of just one big city at this point, I feel like. And I've been here my whole life, so I'm a little biased to that. But especially with like Mile of Music, I feel like Appleton has really made a name for itself over the past 5 years when it's been getting more popular, and people come from all around to the Fox Valley specifically for the shows and things now, so it's cool.
Yeah, it seems like there's less bands in general. Maybe I'm just looking in the wrong places, but in Oshkosh especially, like I can't think of like, we have Shuby, they practice next door to us, but like I just can't think of any. I mean, I know some that are like, they pop in and out, but they're not like together long enough to like be in my head. But I just feel like back then we had like a lot of established bands I just can't think of right now.
That's another good question to pose to you. A lot of bands do break up and they don't go the distance. Do you guys think Horace Green will be around 20 years from now?
Yes.
Yes.
Right. Well, we've got a record of it now.
Yes.
We got a comment from Jerry Laundry. Thanks for checking out the show today. He said that you guys were played on WAPL's Homebrewed a minute ago, so
Nice.
that's good news. Is it?
We're firing on all cylinders.
Saturday morning, right now.
The videos are cool. You guys have done some cool videos. One specifically for Fevers, like
Oh, yeah.
the karate. Like, where did that whole premises come from to do that in a karate studio? And who are the other people in the video?
The idea, I think I might have had the idea for the karate thing. I kind of have these fantasies about all the videos that none of them ever happen, but they're usually too ambitious. But the karate one was just like supposed to be like a love story involving like karate, and our friend Tyler, who's the mullet
Yeah.
guy in the video, he's amazing.
He's
He's
a
He's
character.
a
We love
fantastic
him.
actor, and just
Was
like
that a real mullet?
That was
yes,
a real mullet.
100%. He was like so fun to just be around,
Yeah.
and he did so good on the
He
video.
really tied it all together.
Our friend Casey shot that video, and I don't know how we got the space.
We
So
were
we didn't
looking
pay
for a
for it.
karate studio, and then it was Blankfield Body Fit.
Blankfield Body Fit. Yeah, we came up with a jingle. Blankfield Body Fit. Blankfield Body Fit. Da, 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 da. We never sent it to them,
Yeah.
but maybe someday.
Did the shoot take a while? Was that a day long thing, or was that multiple days it was spread out over?
Your memories.
2
are so better than mine.
days. We did a couple days for sure. yeah, kind of got everything set up and things first day, shot most of it, and then did a couple like finishing up scenes and stuff like that. Might have been over a weekend.
Mhm.
Yeah, couple day operation.
Yeah, that's fun.
And you guys have a lot of other great videos. If people want to check them out, you just search for Horace Green
Yeah.
on YouTube. You'll find them. But you guys have recently had a big shoot in Oshkosh. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that and what we can expect and when we can expect to see it?
Yeah, that was a really wild experience for us because it snowballed in a way that you can't plan for, and it just became this monster in a good way of like just it's hard to explain, but
It's like a bunch of super talented minds coming together and like very creative people, and just made it a lot of fun to like everyone came together and really like pulled through. And
it started like our friend Max Hauser has just I don't remember how we met Max, but since we met him, he's just sort of like helped us with videos here and there, and he shot our live sessions that we did at the Algoma Club. They're on the internet, and um, he's just a really cool dude, and he's about like the art, and he doesn't mind getting paid not a lot, which is great for us. So we can't pay him a lot, and we wish we could, because Max, you're amazing,
Yes.
and you totally deserve more.
yeah, he definitely goes the distance. And
He pulls all the favors he can, and like just to get stuff working for us, and that's what he did for the live sessions. But for the Nighttime Boy music video, which is the one that we're talking about, it was just like he just like sold his soul to everybody he knew and to the entire project to make it work. And like the favors he called in were nuts. And this guy came up from Chicago with his team, and they brought like this U-Haul full of stuff.
it's like
And
a 40-foot like blue screen kind
it
of
was
thing.
massive.
and,
It was
like,
crazy. And the Howard just let us in, and
Yeah, the
we
Howard, it's gorgeous. That was,
Max and I like sweet talked the lady to be like, yeah, so we really just want to, money's a little tight, but if you could just, it'd be cool if you just let us in there and we could do the thing. We'll be out of your hair quick.
They were so nice about everything.
And they were
too.
really nice. Yeah, I think I'm wearing their shirt. They gave us this shirt. They were excited that we did the video there, and I was like, "You're thanking us? Like, this is amazing."
Well, the pictures you posted, you posted some pictures from the shoot, and it does look amazing. I mean, you've got like, it is like a little studio built up in the middle, and it just, I think that kind of thing it gets people wanting to see what it is. I know since I've seen those pictures, I really want to see the videos.
I want to see it too, man.
Yeah.
Is it being worked on, like edited right now, or what's?
I think so. I'm not sure because we're a ways out from actually releasing it and the song, but yeah, I think Max is working on it still. Well, we could talk for like hours just on the video. It just became such a crazy project. And like I gotta talk about Jocelyn because she was the dancer. She's the nighttime boy in the video. And then Jolie was there. She made the masks for it, which is crazy to see in real life because like I have these like scenes like in my head before anything happens. Then when we talk to people and try to be like, so this is what we're looking for, it's always like, do they actually know what we're looking for? And like, are we going to be able to relay it right? But Jolie did like fantastic, and the mask is just like exactly what was in my brain, and it's crazy to see, and to see it all come together is nuts.
Do you feel like you might be upping the bar quite a bit to where
The bar is way too high. It's all downhill from
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, it was definitely the craziest thing we've done video-wise.
It's the craziest thing we've done.
Yeah.
so
Nuts.
no firm date on when this will be released?
No, we're hoping for like July. Kind of depends on the album recording and all that, but we're hoping for July.
You guys have done some pretty cool things too. You released an album live at the Algoma Club.
Yeah,
And-
that was the other one, yeah.
And that, you see, the Algoma Club was somewhere you guys have played quite often as well. Did you guys play there during Racket Fest? I believe that was.
Yep.
And where did the live album, which show did that come from?
The live album was that video series I was talking about before that Max did with us. And we did like the video, and then Steve Wiegert, you probably know Steve.
Maybe.
He's like an Appleton sound guy. He does a lot of stuff
Oh.
around here. I'm sure you've seen him. He's a really cool guy, and he just set up some mics and gave us like the recordings after the video, and then I just mixed them into a thing, and we sent it to Justin Perkins, and that was it. That's all that was.
Well, the sound must have been really good where you were able to just send it over and have it,
It was, I mean, I fiddled with it in the mix. Live stuff's kind of tricky to make it all blend together nicely, especially with like, we had the 4-piece for that. Logan and Isaac were with us on that one, and one of the mics on the overhead drums was not working, and it was like, well, it was working, but it was like
against a cymbal stand, so it was just getting the wash of the
yeah, it
cymbal
was like every
stand.
time like Isaac would hit the cymbal, the microphone would go. So I like had to figure out how to edit all that out of it, or like just mix it super low. But yeah, no, that's what that was.
Topic of the day, the exclusive company closing.
Yeah,
What are your
so
thoughts on the
sad.
exclusive company?
It's sad, man. I mean, I've been there a lot, and
Hmm.
they've been really supportive of us too, and of the local bands.
Yeah,
Our Oshkosh one has for sure.
so sad to see it go. And I remember when we lived in the dorms at UW Oshkosh, we'd go to record store day at like 6:30 in the morning and
Yeah.
walk down the street and get in line and wait for whatever releases were coming out, and just a lot of good memories there. And
They had us play there a couple times, I think, too.
for they did like the live in-store things after a while for record store day. I think we did a couple of those.
Yeah, it's sad, man. It
Very
stinks.
sad.
How do you feel like as far as the exclusive company was pretty supportive to the local community, selling vinyl and CDs? Do you guys feel that CDs are sort of even worth the time anymore? Since we've got digital stuff,
Mm-hmm.
you feel there's still a value there in printing CDs?
Yeah, I do. I mean, there's value to the consumer in that they get a collectible, which in the digital age is becoming more valuable. I think that's why the vinyl is so big again, because it's a thing. We're humans. We like to touch.
We like to collect things.
We like to smell. You can't touch or smell a Spotify song. And I think that's just... I think collectibles, even outside of the actual audio, in merch form, I mean, is going to be more and more popular. Just like unique collectible stuff.
I like looking through the booklets and seeing all the pictures and the band B-roll and
Mm-hmm.
the liner notes and the lyrics, and
Yeah, it's another like little experience
yeah,
too.
it's an interactive type of experience.
I'd like to also ask you guys about Rock Garden Live. How's your experience on the Rock Garden Live show?
That was fun.
It's
too.
fun.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Any butterflies before your set on Rock Garden Live?
definitely.
I don't think I had any. I was really goofy that day.
Were you happy with how it turned out?
I'm never happy with it. Not on Mark's end though. Mark's great. It turned out fine. I mean, it's cool. He did great mixing it, and I'm sure he made us sound better than we are. But it was really fun. Yeah.
Good experience.
I was on the floor doing a solo for way too long. It was in the moment. I didn't know which song we were gonna do the video for, but no, it was fun. It was really fun.
Were there any goofs or like redos or anything that didn't make it to the final aired footage?
The bass amp actually blew out on one of the songs. He had this giant
The fridge.
he had a big
That old Ampeg?
I think so,
Yeah.
yeah. And I don't know if it was the head or the cab, but the speaker blew, and all of a sudden there was no sound. And luckily we just kept rolling through it, but they had to bring out a whole new amp for me and everything, and I'm not sure if that made it onto the show or not, but
I don't know.
probably cut it out. But
We didn't redo anything. I don't remember doing anything like that.
You guys have a show coming up tonight at the
Yeah.
Appleton Beer Factory.
we do.
Have you guys played at the Appleton Beer Factory before?
Oh yeah.
we have.
Well, today's show it's with the Minx, which the show starts at 7. Is there anything that you want to let our listeners know about the show, or
Yeah. I just want them to know it's gonna be a ripper.
Yeah. Come down, have fun. Great beer,
I
great
don't know.
bands, it'll be fun.
And you guys had other shows in March too. I had them all written down here. You play Kakana, Sheboygan. You've got a show coming up in Eau Claire on April 30th.
Mm-hmm.
How far out do you book? And are you a little cautious to book too far out at this point?
Pretty much whatever comes our way, we'll put in our calendar. There's no like hard cutoff. Like, we like to plan things as far out as we can to like, if we're doing like a little like weekend run or something like that, and just to make sure we've got everything ironed out, all the details and stuff. But
I think Justin booked us for Racket Fest like one of the first years, like 14 months in advance.
yeah,
And we were like,
he just wants to make sure.
are we gonna be together?
Yeah.
Are we gonna be a band? Like we
It
knew
was,
we were gonna be, but
It was a little weird during COVID, like once everything started opening back up again, because we had a bunch of shows, as everyone did, get canceled. And so it was like, are we putting these together just to have them get canceled again? But it seems like everything's kind of leveling out now. So there's really no hard cutoff.
So what can people expect when they go to a Horace Green show?
A lot of laying on the floor and
crying.
weeping, tears of joy.
Expect. Yeah. Just expect it, man.
We like to surprise ourselves.
Expect to be
so
there and expect to spend some money.
You'll
Just
use
kidding.
your ears and.
You don't have to spend money.
So is Mitch still drumming for you guys?
Mitch is not drumming for us.
Okay. So when did you get the new drummer?
Stinny, right before COVID. It was actually kind of bad because
Yeah, I think we played. It was like what?
like 2 shows with him.
We played like January, February, March with him, and we weren't really doing much at the time. We were between the old guys leaving and him coming in, so we hadn't booked much. And then yeah, I think we played like 2 or 3 shows, and everything hit and shut down. So
Yeah, it's not a good introduction.
not a great way
for
to
him.
develop a relationship, but he's great. We love him, and
Stinny's amazing.
yeah. So
Was he somebody that was playing in bands prior that you guys knew?
Yeah, Taylor Greenwood
Taylor.
set us up with him. He
he's
knew him.
big in the jazz scene too. So he knows everyone and is running around everywhere. And
Yeah.
Talk about big hearts. Taylor Greenwood has one.
yes,
Yes,
And
sir.
I could look at that smile all day.
Love that boy.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show, you guys.
Okay.
That went pretty fast, but
That was fast.
I would love to have you guys back when the new album comes out. And you said you haven't started recording it yet? Or you have started recording it?
It's like 1% recorded.
And it's going to be a full album or an EP? Singles?
album.
It's 11 songs.
Yeah. So there will be singles.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
Within the season.
Is it going to be kind of the same style of the Horace Green that we've heard on the first releases? Or are you guys going to all of a sudden veer left and take a different sound? Like, I know the Present Age kind of did that recently.
Okay. Yeah.
Same core kind of. The heart is there.
It's
and
Horace
then-
Green.
Yeah, it's Horace Green.
But it's
We're
Horace Green in a different dimension.
we got hands and different.
We have like a 8-minute
now.
disco funk odyssey
Yeah.
called Cream. That one's gonna be a little bit of a experience, I think. It's a little more dancey, I think.
Disco.
I like it. I'm excited for it. There's a really weird song on it too. The Electric Slab.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it gets a little weird. It's fun. I think it'll be good.
It's
album.
fun. It's good.
All right. And last question. Any bands that people should check out that are on your radar that are up and coming?
Oh man, I actually have a Spotify playlist of all these just Wisconsin original bands, and I try to update it a lot. And there's a lot of really good bands on there. I'm terrible at like thinking of names on the spot, but there's like hundreds of bands in there that are doing stuff right now.
Floral Friday is a cool band.
Oh yeah,
They play in
Floral
here.
Friday.
our buds.
They're from Oshkosh?
I think they were originally from Green Bay, and now they're based in the Valley. I think Neenah, but yeah, they're cool.
Our friend Culla's always doing cool stuff.
He's from Milwaukee.
there's definitely people who are probably mad that we're not shouting them out.
There's so many friends and talented musicians. And
Red Hawks. Red Hawks.
Red Hawks.
Well, Tony, Sam, thank you so much for joining me on Fox Cities Core this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Love the music. Can't wait to see the music video. Can't wait for the next album. And you're welcome back anytime you want to come by and plug something. Just let us know.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been watching Fox Cities Core on WCZR, Code Zero Radio.